mountain. I've driven up to the top. I don't know if you'll get to see the airplane. There's a bench out there that just overlooks Phoenix, but I'm also going to do the drive back up to the TV towers and then down. Surprising if I get up to 15 miles an hour, to be honest. This reminds me a bit of the drive back to Canyon Lake State Forest behind Superstitions, or in the Superstitions. When I was on my way up here, it's about 4 miles from the beginning of the park road to Dobbins Lookout, and then there's about another 2 miles after that up to the TV towers that you can see there. And this lookout, there's picnic tables. There was a woman who was coming down who obviously looked like she had hiked up here. I guess her camelback was empty at that point, and she desperately needed water, and I felt so bad. But I know I was stopped in a really bad spot, but she did not look like she was going to make it if she didn't get some water. So I had a regular bottle in here. It was, God only knows how warm it was. And there was only about a third of it in there, but she was incredibly grateful for it, so I hope that maybe she found some more. She was basically trying to flag down drivers as they were coming up the hill to see if they could give them to her, give her any. Gave her what I had. Wish I had gotten another Gatorade when I was at the mailbox place. And this is also, without a doubt, someplace that I want to come back when it's cooler. And not because of the wildlife or anything. I don't mind the wildlife. I imagine that there is stuff all over out here, and you do have to be very careful. I just want to be able to walk around and walk closer to some of these saguaros to get even more pictures. I've been taking tons of them from afar. I also saw in one of the Arizona groups that somebody saw a Gila monster. I personally call them Gila lizards because they are not monsters at all to me. But they saw one crossing their path while they were hiking. And honestly, I just don't feel like there's anything to be afraid of with them as long as you don't antagonize them. Yes, they're venomous, but even with venomous snakes, big part of it is just leave them alone. And yes, I know that sounds ridiculous coming from me, but I know if something has the vast potential to hurt me because they tend to get spooked or whatever, I'm not going to harass them. I admit I'm a jerk when it comes to, like, if it's a lizard that's not venomous, I do want to touch it. I want to pick it up and talk to it and look at it real close. And I wish there was a way I could do that without causing stress or anxiety to them. But I can't. So I get yelled at for harassing them. looking at like where it shows some of them off the road, and I'm looking at it on my GPS screen on the dash, like not a GPS receiver, but what's actually in the car, so if I need a program for directions or whatever. But anyway, it has the screen on it, and it shows like they just radiate out from here, but I don't see the heads from them, and they look like they each go out maybe a quarter mile, if that. But hoping that this also gives you a good idea, like if you can look over the view, and I see a couple vultures all the way up here. It's so cool. I wish it was cool, but the osatillos up here too are incredible. Up here is a big round circle, and the way you park in facing the guardrail. And I'm going to do that really quick, but I don't think I'm going to go all the way to the guardrail, just because it's a little daunting, because should the car like accidentally slip out of gear or something, you're heading down that mountain, and not much gonna save you. And like, I'm driving the car like a stick. I'm putting my left foot on the brake and then hitting the gas once it's in reverse, because it is a little scary, I'm not gonna lie. And so I have to kind of just laugh about it a little bit and try to not be so nervous about it. But this will be the drive back down. I don't know how long it will take, but it gives you an idea of what the drive to Dobbins Point, to the radio towers. I know one of the places up here was called Hidden Valley, and I'm going to guess that that's one of the little where you can walk into these valleys with like a wider open path. But right now I just don't see where that is. It's probably one of these little things that radiate off of here. If I can do a screenshot of the map later and put it in here, I'll try to do that. Can't guarantee that I'll remember, because some of these I just get so excited and I upload them before I edit them together, or I edit them together wrong. A lot of them I had pictures that I wanted to put with them, and I get so excited I forget to put the pictures with them and just upload it willy-nilly. But again, I don't claim to be in this for the tech. I just want to be able to show people what this looks like and how amazing it is. The road is a good wide, 2 lanes wide. You know, it's not like it's terribly narrow. If somebody else was coming up, you could probably technically fit 3 cars across if you had to, but I'm not going to give it a try. There are multiple spots along to pull off if need be. I do that a lot because I know that I'm driving a lot slower than other people probably want to, especially when I stop to take pictures of the saguaros or anything else that I see. And sometimes I just want to drive slow, and I'm just looking at stuff because I don't take in the details as quickly as everybody else, and I like to look closely at things. So I do drive very slow. Again, the whole, I'm not always the greatest driver, and I know that. So driving slow is also cautionary. And it says 15 on the curves. I'm barely doing 10, but that's okay. Excuse me. But yeah, this would be a place for, there's a trailhead there. This would definitely be a place for time-lapse, the clouds and stuff. You could watch the planes take off. see out into Phoenix and all the different mountains in the middle of the city here and there, like that the cities are built around. Again, I've heard of Phoenix referred to as a bastion of man's stubbornness when it comes to, or testament to man's stubbornness when it comes to creating a living environment where theoretically one could argue that they shouldn't. And I'm kind of right there with that argument. Perhaps we aren't always meant to live everywhere. Sometimes I do think that different places are meant to stay primitive, and I want to be able to see them, don't get me wrong, and I love being able to see them safely on a paved road. And there's the conundrum, because it's like that catch-22. If you want the whole leave no trace, you don't want people to ruin or alter the environment, but we want to be able to see it, enjoy it, and be amazed by it. How do you do so safely? And I don't know, I don't even think I can get into that because I don't have an answer. I find it very conflicting. My allergies hate me. When I did a geocache, I stumbled a little bit, imagine that, but I remember putting my hand down in this little gravel and sand and stuff, and I felt something go into my thumb. It was like a little tiny piece of glass sliver or shard or something, but oh my god, and it's so tiny, but I can't feel it to get it out, but boy do I feel it sometimes when I press down on something, and I don't know, I'm gonna have to dig it out probably with something. Not exactly looking forward to it, but I'm likely gonna have to. All I can say is I hope that the picture on this is anything as breathtaking as it is for me driving this. Okay, I went to Dobbins Lookout, so I'm turning left. This is going back down. I did not go back up to Dobbins Lookout. I took a small video there earlier. The road up there is not very difficult once you get from that point. Every single inch of it, though, is stunning, and you move a foot and a half on the road or change, 20 degrees direction-wise, and it's completely different. And that's what I keep thinking about with everything out here in Arizona. It's so different just by making a tiny little move for point of view. This drive coming down is stunning, just as it was coming up, but again, the different point of view, the different perspective, you see so many different things, and I just want to figure it all out. And like I said, I'm confused about why there aren't more geocaches up here. But that reminds me, I am going to drive into the one little area where the educational center is, because I'm going to do the geocache there, and I can't remember if it's all the way down or not. I may pause this while I do that, and then I'll start it back up. You can see all the saguaros on the sides. Turkey vulture. Hello, gorgeous. Hi. road that's got like a little loop at the very end, but the gate itself is closed, so I guess you could probably walk to it if you wanted to, but it's definitely closed to motor traffic. And this is where the drive's a little frightening because it is a very steep drop off on the other side of the, well, on my side of the road, I should say, the side of the road that I'm driving on, but it's obviously the passenger side. And I think that if you look across a couple of these little ravines as I'm coming down, you can tell what it's like. I'm pretty sure that back a little further, maybe at the 15-minute mark or so, you would have been able to see where I'm at right now and realize that should a car go tumbling down, it could be very catastrophic. However, you'd really have to be driving stupidly for that to happen. I probably should watch what I say because I know my luck, but I think I'm doing pretty good. I think I do pretty good on this road, especially because it is paved. It's pretty much level all the way across. There are a lot of guardrails. Coming up, you have the actual mountain to the side of the car. You're driving on the side of the road with the mountain as you're coming up. Like, look at that, you've got a big pull off here. There's a bench over here too that at some point I need to sit at and take some pictures because it overlooks this valley and it's all residential down there. Granted, the houses are kind of boring looking if you ask me from up here, but there's also another couple peaks down there. See trails that are marked. Those are awesome. There's a Kiwanis trail, and I missed what the other one was, but they are marked. And then there's like this little, I don't know, I know there's a name for it. It looks like a valley that comes down, almost like a miniature canyon, I guess. I don't know. Sorry for the sniffing between being hot and allergies. That happens to me all the time. You know, I always figure if people don't want to spend the whole, this is probably going to be almost 30 minutes by the time it's done, but watch it in, you know, 2x playback. You'll still get to see everything. You just don't have to listen to me be weird and babble about stuff. And it's gorgeous. It is absolutely gorgeous, but it's about halfway up, and it's definitely worth the pushing past some of your boundaries and getting past some of your fear of heights and stuff like that in order to do this. There's a lot of things that I've been having to push myself to do in order to be able to see some of this stuff. I do have to be careful about doing it when it's too hot, though, because physically I'm not exactly in the best of shape right now, sadly. And there was somebody else who kind of drives like me. He was on my side of the road as he came up. But it could, again, be easily that he's distracted a little bit by the view. And as long as everybody is very careful, I don't think that it's a huge issue. I don't think that... I don't think there's a lot of people who have wrecks up here or drive their car off the side or anything like that. At least I hope not. would actually prefer driving it in the Fiat, being as small as it is. It's just that it is a manual transmission, and I'd probably be in first or second gear the entire time. And we already know that that car does not exactly handle elevation changes very well. I believe this is going to be where the education center is, if that's the case, and the gate is open. I'm going to go down, but this gate is open, thankfully. Let's see, telegraph pass. I'm not glad to go up, that's fine. I know that I saw the signs for it on the way up, and if I don't get to do the cache today, it's not going to be the end of the world. It's actually a really cute one, I think, based on what I've seen. It's not like it's difficult to find or even get to, but it's one that I suspect is basically out in plain sight. And if you don't know what you're looking for, if you're not looking for anything, you probably have no clue or even notice that it's there. But being a geocacher, you'll recognize something that's on the outside of it, I believe, and then you'd feel comfortable approaching it to open it. And I think those are great. It looks like it's a bigger size, so it's one like for kids. That I love those. I'm like the biggest juvenile in an overweight old woman's body, basically. Caches where you can trade things in and out of. So I keep a lot of stuff, either the origami with me. I also have these little, what do you call them? All-purpose tools. Actually, is this it? Let us see. And the gate is closed though, if it is, so I'm not gonna go in there at the moment. Not there either. Leading a lot. Sorry, I couldn't think of it. I don't know. I think this is it. I think, yeah, this is just Ramada's. So there's the educational center is not back here. Oh, it's called 5 tables and 3 tables. That's right. Just little picnic areas. That's what they name them. Kind of weird, but got yourself a little detour here. Again, I don't know if they showed up very well in the video coming down the hill, but a couple places along here, there are the stone foundations of small buildings. And then Scorpion Gulch has about 4 or 5 of them, and people use them for photo opportunities, and they do portraits and stuff there all the time. Because I'm taping, I can't put the GPS and the CGO on, so look at something. This is basically the entrance of the park. This is